Goodbye, Frederic. You know that you will always be in our thoughts. It's a great adventure that you're setting out on.
These goodbyes are the saddest part of it all, Father. The future doesn't frighten me.
I understand. But some of your school friends have come. They've brought a little present for you.
Frederic, we will miss you very much. It's as though one of the brightest parts of our lives is leaving us. In this box, we have put a little of the soil of your native Poland, so that wherever you are, and whatever may happen, you may have some slight memory of us all with you. Goodbye, dear friend.
Goodbye.
Well, Jacques, aren't you pleased I made you come along to the concert? Oh, I can't wait to get back to my piano.
I must say, I've never heard piano playing like that in my life before. But it has the opposite effect on me. Makes me wonder why I ever tried to play the piano myself. What's the fellow's name?
Oh, good heavens, that's typical of you. You spend a whole evening at a concert and you can't remember the name of the pianist.
Perhaps, but I'm more interested in sound than in names. However, I can see you're bursting with information and you're dying to put me in the picture. Go on, then. Tell me everything you know about him.
Well, his name's Frederic Chopin. He's a Pole, 22 years old, born in Warsaw. He was an infant prodigy and composed a lot of pieces for the piano when he was still very young. He played before the Tsar when he was 15, and 3 years ago he made a tremendous success in Vienna. Then he decided to come to Paris.
I see. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does in the future. I suppose, like anybody else, he needs a lucky break. Even the most successful of concerts isn't much good if it isn't followed up by something.
Good morning, Monsieur Chopin.
Good morning, Madame Laurier.
I hope you don't mind my saying so, Monsieur Chopin, but you've been looking very ill lately. Doesn't Paris suit you?
Oh, Paris suits me all right. It's the most wonderful place in the world. It's a dream, and I never want to live anywhere else. But I've got to make a living, and that's not easy.
Ah, yes. Tinkling away on a piano all day doesn't bring you a square meal very often, does it?
It's all a question of tinkling away, as you call it, in the right place at the right time. I think I'd have a better chance in America. If nothing turns up for me soon in Paris, I think I'll go there.
Young man over there. Do you know who he is?
I haven't the least idea. I saw him come in with Prince Valentin Radziwill.
Oh, that's funny. When you pointed him out to me, I'd have said he was a musician. Oh, look, the prince is taking him over to the piano.
If his playing's up to his looks, it'll be worth listening to.
Yes.
You know, my dear, we've been having such trouble with the servants, you can't imagine.
Why?
First of all, there was the trouble with the first footman. I'm so sorry.
My dear Rogerville, I'd no idea that the young man you brought with you tonight was such a fine artist.
Ah, he is something of a revelation, isn't he?
James, that young man's a godsend.
Oh, why, my dear? Did you think the reception was going badly before he started to play?
Oh, no, it's not that. But I was thinking that he was just the person that I need to help me with my own piano playing. The teachers I've had before have all been fine musicians, but not one of them has combined such a mastery of the instrument with such fire and poetry.
Dear Father, I've had the most wonderful good luck. I'm now accepted in the highest society, and if my health doesn't let me down, I'll be able to earn a fortune with my compositions, my lessons, and the occasional concerts I give. The list of my pupils' names sounds like one taken from the most distinguished court in Europe. But let me describe my new flat to you.
My dear son, you can imagine with what pleasure I learnt of your success. It is only a just reward for your work and your talent. But I pray God that you will be spared any illness. It's a hard life for an artist in a foreign country, and poverty is forever lurking around the corner. You must try and save some money. I must confess that I'm a little worried by your description of your flat. Your servants, your wardrobe, your coach and horses, and all the rest of it.
Pupils, pupils, pupils! Oh, but I suppose I shouldn't say anything ill about them. They do make it possible for me to live. Here comes one of them. I wonder what will happen to her.
Good morning, Monsieur Chopin.
Good morning, madame. What are you going to play for me today?
I've been practicing some Bach and a sonata by Mozart.
I'd like to hear some scales first, then some arpeggios.
Scales and arpeggios? I never dream of practicing those. I leave that sort of thing to my children.
Do you? Madame, your lack of musical feeling is matched only by your stupidity. Do you think I'd tell my valet to practice my scales for me? Go to the piano and play the scale of B minor 4 octaves.
Oh, I can't play this. I came to play you Bach or Mozart.
So you came to play me Bach or Mozart. Good. Where's the music?
Here it is.
Ah, yes, just what I needed. Nice, fat, well-bound volumes. Madame, you will leave this room immediately. You will never come back here.
Really?
And you can collect your music from the street, for that's the only place you're fit to play a piano. Oh! Good morning!
I think that the two pianists we heard this afternoon will go down as being the two greatest artists in the history of the instrument. In 100 years' time, their names and music will be familiar when almost everything else from our time will be forgotten. What do you think, Jacques?
Perhaps you're right. They're both extraordinary performers, and they both write magnificent pieces for the piano.
You're a pupil of Liszt, Jacques. Tell me, what does he think of Chopin?
Well, there's no jealousy, if that's what you're thinking of. Liszt is full of praise for Chopin's playing.
Why is it that Chopin plays so little in public?
More than anything else, it's a question of nerves. Any public appearance takes it out of him in more than you would imagine. He has said himself that the public frightens him. The sight of all those people waiting open-mouthed to hear him perform deprives him of his powers.
In spite of his nerves, his playing is magic. I wish I could hear him more often. Anyway, since he came to Paris, he's certainly established himself as one of the leading personalities in the artistic world.
Yes, he's even attracted the attention of Georges Sand. She's a wonderful writer, but...
Yes, I know. Woe betide poor Chopin if she falls in love with him. She's bound to. He's handsome, talented, sensitive, and charming. About the most romantic man one could imagine. And he's got the pale charm of a man who looks as though he's dying.
Have you seen that peculiar couple at Vadimosa?
Do you mean the artists? The ones that are living up in the old monastery there?
Yes. Man's a musician.
Oh.
Plays the piano. The people who live there say he plays his piano at all times of the day and the night. They also say he's very ill. He's come here to try and cure a cough. I'd say he was dying myself. He looks as pale as death.
Yes. I've seen the pair of them. The man looks decent enough to me. Oh, but that woman. I never come across anything like her in all my life. Trousers.
No.
A woman wearing trousers. And smoking cigars.
What?
It isn't natural, I say. But people do say she looks after that young man as though he were her own son.
Stand this place any longer. I came here to try and improve my health. All I meet is rain and loneliness. And my health gets worse every day.
I've done all I can for you, Frederic. But it's no use our staying here any longer, if that's how you feel.
No, I don't know how I feel. I know you've looked after me. But why do you have to leave me alone so often? What happiness is there for me when I'm left alone like that?
This place is good for neither of us. I don't think we were meant to live alone together. You need people around you. People to shout at, people to show off to. I need my friends to shout at and my friends to show off to. It's as though we both condemned ourselves to prison by coming here.
Prison? Life's a prison. We all have to find our own escape. You find it in your writing, in the people you love. I find it in my music.
I'm sure of one thing. There's no point in our staying here any longer. We'll go to my home at Nohant. We can go back to Paris later in the year and take up our old life again. I'll make arrangements to go back to France straight away.
What's happened to Chopin? We never see him here these days.
You mean you never see him? It's a wonder, you ever see anyone. When you're in a room, Berlioz, there's only one person in that room as far as you're concerned, and that person's Hector Berlioz.
My dear Delacroix, I'm not like you. I don't spend my time trying to impress visual experiences into my mind and re-expressing them on canvas. All that matters to me is the function of a man as a musician. Chopin's a pianist. I haven't heard him play for a while. I may have seen him, but that doesn't prevent me from wondering what's happened to him.
My dear Berlioz, I think you mean that you're interested in a man only as a possible private soldier in the enormous brass band of sound you'd like to produce. But Chopin's no lackey of yours in that respect. He's an individual, a real musician.
I think you're a bit hard on Berlioz. After all, he only wants us all to learn the cello or the violin or some instrument, it doesn't matter which, so that he can assemble us in the Place de la Concorde and then say he's conducted the biggest orchestra in the history of the world. But Frederic, oh yes, he's still here, all right. Getting thinner and more ill every day. More tyrannical with his pupils. And composing whenever his health allows him.
When's he coming round here again?
Not for some time, I imagine. He told me the other day he's accepted an invitation to go to England. He'll give a few concerts in London, I suppose. Queen Victoria is anxious to hear him play, I understand.
Frederic.
My dear friend.
Well, I didn't expect to find you here in London. Not the sort of place for you. Nor for me, either. They even have fog here in summer.
Yes, it's a terrible climate. But I've been well received by the people here. The Queen was apparently quite charmed with my music. Though I'm not so sure that it was to the consort's taste. I wish I could get used to the air here.
You never will.
You sound very sure about what you say. I'm off to Scotland next week.
Concerts?
No, pupils. Lady Stirling's grandfather is anxious to hear me play, it seems. And there's a host of Scottish ladies simply dying to have some lessons from a pianist from Paris. I wonder what they expect me to look like.
As you are, I should imagine.
I hope they don't expect me to compose for them. I feel constantly ill and tired. I can't see myself composing much more, even if I go back to Paris. My dear sister, thank heaven to be back in Paris again. Paris, dear city. I know perfectly well that I've come here to die. And I never went back to Poland. I think I've even forgotten the songs of my country. I'm longing for my home in the house I came to when I was still a boy. Dear Ludwika, come to your brother. I would like to have you with me.
Chopin's dead. Did you know?
Yes, I heard from one of my pupils.
I suppose they'll start writing his epitaph now. Frederic Chopin. 1810 to 1849. But what next?
The best epitaphs were those made during his lifetime. Remember what Mendelssohn said about him?
Yes, the prince of pianists.
And Schumann. The sadness of his music reaches the very depths of one's heart.
Only we who saw him during his life will know of his charm, the majesty of his playing, and the tenderness of his soul.
I don't think you're right. Those who listen to his music can probably know as much about him as we do. Perhaps even more.